I get so many people who come here in the studio and they're trying to eliminate their flip. I think it's a very confusing topic for a lot of golfers. What is a flip? How do you stop a flip? What are some good drills to start to eliminate the flip? And I think it gets confusing at times because there are maybe some different versions of what a flip is if you search the internet. A lot of people would consider this a flip. A lot of people consider this a flip, right? And maybe even some of this a flip. And I think they're all slightly different in their own way. And ultimately, I think every single player at some point in their golf swing would what most people consider flip the golf club. It's a matter of how much and when that is happening for a player, and how do they manage it within their golf swing, right? And so I sort of want to talk about what a mentor of mine calls the POS system, right? Every golfer has three things that are ultimately helping them square the face. And the first thing that we all do, every single golfer, is pivot, right? We are pivoting or rotating our body on the way through. That helps us square the club face. Now, maybe you're working on your pivot. Maybe you want your pivot to be better, but every single golfer does make some sort of pivot in their golf swing. Even the brand new golfer who stays on their back foot, their body is turning some amount in the downswing. The other two are overtaking. What I mean by overtaking is as we swing through, how quickly does the club head overtake the hands? Okay, and that is a very important topic for us to talk about. How much and when does that club head overtake the hands is absolutely helping players square the face. The last one that I talked about in the POS system is supination. Supination of the lead arm helps close the face. Basically, what supination is, you put your lead arm straight out in front of you and you roll your forearm and your wrist under. If we did that with the golf club only, that is a face closer. So if we know that every player pivots, okay, that is one mechanism to help us close the face. Good players do one of the other two. They don't do both. They either have some overtaking or they have supination. They don't have the pivot, overtaking, and supination. Okay? And I think the big one for us to talk about today is the overtaking, okay? And the club head passing the hands. I think that is something that I see day in, day out on my lesson tee here, that regardless of how a player gets to the top and the positions they put the club in the bottom, that they've got too much overtaking through the bottom. And the problem with that is when it's timed well, that player can absolutely hit some great golf shots. When we think about some things that affect timing, pressure, you're trying to beat your buddy finally, right, out on the golf course. You're playing in a tournament. That pressure affects the timing and the rhythm of the golf swing, which is going to affect the overtaking rate. Either it's going to happen too soon and too much, or it's not going to happen soon enough, right? And you're going to miss these shots left and right. You feel like you've got a two-way miss, when in reality, it's all about the same exact issue, which is the overtaking rate of that golf club. We want to slow that down. And the reality of overtaking is it can kind of come in a lot of different forms, right? The overtaking can just happen really quickly, and ultimately the impact position sort of looks like your hands are back here by your trail leg and the club head is making its way to the ball. It can sort of look like almost a chicken wing sort of effect where, again, we have this breakdown of the lead arm and the club head is overtaking the hands. And as I said, that creates a two-way miss. That affects low point control, right? So many different variables there. And so I think many players need to learn how to get this lead arm to start to supinate on the way through. If this lead arm can start to roll under, now what we're able to do is we're able to slow down the overtaking rate of the golf club to our hands, or the club head to our hands. This is no good. This is more stable, right? We put two hands back on. Okay, we're going to have a much more stable impact position, much more stable release pattern, and start to eliminate this two-way miss. So one of the first ways to start to eliminate this overtaking and start to train this lead arm to go a little bit more in this supination or external rotation on the way through is with just lead arm only swings. When we do lead arm only swings, I want you to grip about halfway down on the grip. Just makes the club weigh a little bit less. And you're just making little swings back and through. And you're feeling this lead arm sort of roll under to the finish. And it's actually very normal for that just to happen when you have one arm only swings. It's very rare that I've ever seen a player keep their arm internal and do this, right, when they do this drill. And so what internal would mean is your upper arm is still rotated away from the target, and then your wrist has to buckle or there's overtaking there, right? So one arm only swings, allow it to roll and just get up to the top. And obviously we can clip little shots. We wouldn't expect these to be very good. You might miss them. That's okay. But just really slow. Let it externally rotate, okay? When you start to have a good feel for that, put two hands on, feel the same thing. This lead arm is going to externally rotate. What that would look like at impact would be more of this and into your finish. So really slow, okay, into your finish. Now, like one of the things that I would expect for players as you start to do this, I would expect to see this ball curving left, right? Because this supination is a face closer. Okay. Now, obviously, how much of that and when do we need it, right, is really important. That's going to be tied with our pivot. You know, are you a good rotator? Are you a little bit of a slider? Okay. But make no mistake about it, this supination, right, is going to be much more stable as you learn it than this overtaking. Okay. This club head passing the hands a little bit too soon. So it's going to take a little bit of time. One arm only swings. I'm going to give you another drill in a second. One arm only swings, right? Put two hands back on. Feel that. Hit some slow shots. Feeling the same thing. Start to speed it up a little bit. See what happens. Feeling that arm turning under, right? You're going to start to slow down the overtaking rate. You're going to improve low point control. Okay? You're going to improve strike location. You're going to improve the overall shape of your golf shot. Okay, so another drill we can do is just a duffel bag, or I've got an impact bag here, just fill with some towels. You got a duffel bag. You can use literally just like the corner of a wall, right? Obviously, if we're doing that on the wall, we're not going to hit this very hard. Here's what I want you to think about. If I was set up to this golf ball, and I've got this bag a couple of inches ahead of the ball, right? That would be sort of conducive to where we want a low point to be with a 8 iron. We want it to be 3 inches, 4 inches ahead of the ball. What we would love to see at that spot, at the low point, not at impact, but at low point, which is a couple of inches, a few inches ahead of the ball. What we would love to see is that the club head, the left wrist, the left knee, the left hip, the left shoulder for right-handers, your lead side, to all be in a line. What we will see with people who have too much overtaking is the club head gets there, the hands are behind, right? So this is a great little impact drill, really slowly. If we have this supination, right, this whole left side is going to all be in a line here at that low point position. Boom. Once again, this is an exaggeration. This is what we're looking for. We want this lead side to be a wall. We don't want this club head passing the hands. So if you can just sit there and train that and feel this lead side getting here and boom, being all together as we would go into the finish, we're eliminating that overtaking rate. We're going to hit much better golf shots from a low point perspective, from a phase control perspective, and you're going to start getting rid of your flip, however you do it, right? So once again, just feeling that left side being a wall. You can see the butt of the club gets over here by my left thigh, my left hip. Club head is slightly behind the hands versus this. As always, thanks for watching. I truly appreciate you guys. Questions or comments, leave them down below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Go back and watch that Hit Your Wedge Closer video to help you hit your wedges closer to the hole. Also, really easy to start doing some of this overtaking rate with some smaller clubs. As always, I appreciate it. I'll see you soon.